Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Thursday, the 10th of February, 2022. And we're producing our regular morning update providing prices, news and economic data. Today we see gold and silver prices rise again. But whether the current price will hold, rise further or fall may be dependent on today's CPI figures due out in a few hours' time. So let's take a look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Thursday, the 10th of February, 2022 at 11:12 in the morning. The news headline today is somewhat of a warning because the first headline that grabs one's attention is Russia begins military drill near NATO borders. We also have a £3 billion loss at the Bank of England. So what is this all about? Well, going to Russia very quickly, and we won't focus too much on this, Russia and Belarus began on Thursday their largest joint military exercise in years. Watched closely by the US and Europe amid rising tension over neighbouring Ukraine. We've already expressed our view on that subject in previous videos. Now this one grabbed our attention particularly. A £3 billion loss at the Bank of England will soon be Rishi Sunak's problem. Rishi Sunak is our Chancellor of the Exchequer. The Bank of England's quantitative easing programme is on course to book a £3 billion or $4.1 billion loss in the coming weeks as the central bank's massive bond holdings start their journey from government cash cow to a drain on the public finances. Now, those living in America and other countries should really make a note of this, to know that the money the Fed has, if you like, loaned by purchasing their multi-trillion dollars worth of bonds, what effect that could have on the general public at large, that is, you and me. The Bank of England's decision this month to begin unwinding its £895 billion bond stockpile kicked off a process that will see gilt holdings fall by more than £200 billion by the end of 2025. The issue is that the price paid on most of those securities was well above face value, leaving the central bank in the red once they mature or are sold. And this is part of the financing that many people actually forgot about. Under a government indemnity with the Bank of England, the state must make good the difference. The shortfall for the total QE holdings amounts to about £115 billion. The QE reversal is a huge moment for a tool that's gone from emergency measure to core policy over the past decade. It's part of an aggressive monetary tightening by the Bank of England, which has already raised interest rates twice and is expected to follow with more through 2022. So a wake-up call for the taxpayer. Reuters, morning bid, up they go. A look at the day ahead in markets. Having fretted about rising sovereign bond yields just a short time ago, world stock markets now appear to be taking the somewhat relentless rise in borrowing costs in their stride. Wall Street ended sharply higher on Tuesday and stock futures point to a positive open later, even as 10-year Treasury yields cling near to their highest levels since late 2019. Is this going to be a good time to sell whatever shares one has? Or are we going to see an ever bullish equity market in 2022? Asian shares outside Japan rose 1.5% and futures point to a firm open for European stocks. In the face of a hawkish pivot by major central banks, equity investors are focusing on the pluses. Banks, for one, should benefit from a higher rate environment. And this is something we've said time and time again. Almost, not quite, but almost regardless of what happens to the stock markets. If you have a rising interest rate environment, primarily banks and financial services companies tend to do well. So if you are altering your equity portfolio, and this is not investment advice, but it's just a view taken after 40 years of actually trading in the equity market, perhaps there should be more weight attended to banking sectors rather than perhaps some of the other more vulnerable ones. BBC News. Marmite makers set to raise prices as costs soar. Disney park trips surge after COVID measures eased. Oh, so now the economy is going to open up perhaps. And this is one we particularly like, just because we have a diamond fetish. Billion-year-old black diamond sold for £3.16 million. Auctioneer, this is the irony, auctioneer Sotheby's said that the buyer used cryptocurrency to make the purchase. US and Canada. Trucker protests force Canada car plant shutdowns. Trump is in trouble again. US National Archives request legal probe of Donald Trump. For those who follow politics, why is Pence speaking out against Trump now? Okay, let's go to the financials. Dollar index virtually unchanged, 95.48. Energy prices nipped up a bit now so that we have both WTI crude and Brent crude back into the $90 region. Equity markets, as the article suggested, the Dow Jones was up yesterday. Perhaps the article was a little bit overgenerous as far as the Dow is concerned because it's up less than 1%. But then we have the S&P up almost 1.5%, and we have the Nasdaq up over 2%. Asian Pacific markets overnight up broadly close to 0.5%. And UK and European markets, except for the CAC index, up around 0.25%. Now, US economic data. Yesterday, we had the wholesale inventories figure coming in, the revision at 2.2%, marginally higher than expectations, but below November's figures. Today is the important day for economic data, as we have the CPI figures coming out in the United States. That's the one we're watching for this week. That's the one that, if there is going to be a game changer in terms of prices, it's going to be this. Of course, as we've often said, if the figures are close to expectations, the markets probably have taken them already into account. If they vary, depending which side they vary, is going to determine whether we're going to see higher or lower gold and silver prices today. We suspect. Let's see what they report. Talking of gold and silver, gold's up another $6 at $18.33. Doing really well. Silver's also up 12 cents at $23.37, holding its own. Will it hit $23.50? It has been as high as $23.41. Cryptocurrency market, like the equity markets, a bit on a tear again, up 2.5%, with Bitcoin now at $44,700. And Ethereum doing even better, up to $3,247. That's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, everyone. Please, before you go, though, make sure you've subscribed to the channel and press the bell sign. And if you wish, give us a thumbs up and comment. It shows YouTube you're interested in the channel. Illuminati silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.